Hey, it's Joe Stibben. Got a new game I want to talk about. Frontline D-Day by DVG Games, Dan Verizon Games. It's actually a really cool game, and I like it a lot. I've been playing it all night, and it's got a solitaire mode, but it's really a two-player game. What it is, it's, if you know what Upfront is, it's like a simpler, simplistic version of Upfront. It's a tactical World War II game, card game, where you control individual soldiers actually named. It's got a very thematic feel to it, and it's a back and forth ebb and flow type game where you're trying to take out your opponent. First person to eliminate half of the opponent's victory points wins. And let me go over what comes in the game, and then I'll talk again about how the game plays and more of my feelings about the game. So let me show you.
Alright, it comes with a full color rule book. It looks really thick, and it actually is pretty thick. It's 39 pages, I guess, but that includes everything as far as a full turn example of play, historical scenarios. Every card in the game is explained in detail. Little historical little tidbits here and there, but good high quality rule book. The rules are a little bit the game is actually pretty simple once you figure it out, but the rules can be a little confusing. It took me about a little bit longer than I thought to learn the game. It comes with a cheat sheet. It's got your basic references during the game and a way to track firepower. This is actually a game that's set up for play, but it comes with a couple decks of cards, action cards, player cards. Here's your typical player. Here's an American. Let me show you what a German looks like. Here's some Germans, a mortar team. Here's a tore up. This guy here, he took a lot of damage. And then it's got your terrain, like up front, where you're going across different terrain, and a whole bunch of counters to track things. Also comes with a solitaire deck, which basically is a AI for the second team, the other player. You can use it to dictate, kind of like ambush. Alright, so that's what comes with the game. Alright, now the way the game plays is that your teams, and each team, whether it be infantry team, a tank, or a mortar team, whatever, will have a leader, and that team is assigned to a certain terrain. So these guys are in this terrain number 2, and all the terrain is numbered. There's a deck of terrain. The cards are double-sided, so you're going to get lots of variety, and you randomly set it up unless you're playing historical battle, and it makes for lots of different combinations. And you get different actions on your turn. Each team has a little acted or not acted, and once one player has done all his acted, then everything's reset, and then it's just the other player, and he can do all his things. And this game is very interactive because every time a player does something, the opponent has a chance to react and flip over one of his things. But there's no disadvantage to doing that either, because at the end of that player's turn, all of them are flipped over, even the opponent's. So at the beginning of each player's phase of the turn, all the markers will be fresh. Now you can see a flowchart here. So if he chose to attack, the opponent can either move, counterattack, or prepare. If he chose to move, the opponent can move, attack, prepare. And then if he does an attack, then the guy who's moving can actually counterattack the guy who's attacking him. And if you choose to prepare, your opponent can also choose to prepare. And then it shows you on the cheat sheet what you can do for preparing, how the attack works, attack results, and the little fun things in the game. First thing you do is for attacking, you pick your target. You get the range to your target, then you look at each player, each card. Let's look at these cards here. So this machine gun here, he has different ranges that he fires at, and then it shows you the firepower. The top will be just normal fire, and then the bottom will be if he uses automatic fire. And if he uses automatic fire, he has to expend this counter. Otherwise, he gets to keep the counter on him, and he can't fire unless he has that counter. And so if he attacks and uses automatic fire, it's gone. Then for later on, for prepare action, he can reload, and you put that counter back on there. So that's and you combine all the guys in a fire group that are in a team, and you set the firepower marker to whatever that may be. then the opponent has a chance to counterattack. If you're attacking him, see, if you're attacking, he can counterattack, move, or prepare. So let's say that he wants to counterattack. If he counterattacks, he can either use the unit that's getting attacked or one of the other units, and he adds up his firepower, and it's halved for counterattacking, and that's subtracted from the firepower total. So let's say it's like this. It knocks it down to 6. Alright, and this one, I'm cutting out a lot of the rules, just giving you a brief explanation. So that means that he's going to get to choose, he's going to take 6 points of damage, and you're going to have a random chip pull, and you're going to pull out 6 points. Now, we look at what terrain he's in. He's in heavy covered terrain, and then you pull out 6 random things, or 6 points worth of things. And the way that works is you pull out one, and you look at it, and it's light, medium, heavy for cover on the counter itself. So there's 4 points. So he's going to take, and you have to choose what order they're going to go before you pull. So this guy's going to take a morale hit. Then I've only got 2 points left, and if I go more than 2, that phase is over with. All right, and I pulled another one, which is 4 points, which is more than the 6 points I have left, so that's discarded. So he's just going to take 1 morale hit. So this guy's marked with a morale marker, and that is over with. Top right there is going to be how much morale he can take. He can take 1 morale hit, so the next morale hit he gets is a wound. If you take 2 wounds, you die. There's also automatic dead. If you pull one of these guys, it dies. And it's a neat way to incorporate your inherent defenses of terrain. You can also react with different cards. Some cards will say each card in the bottom has, if it's an attack card or an instant card, attack cards, move cards, things like that make you expend your action for that team, whereas an instant will not make you expend an action. Another interesting thing about the game is all these little fluff things. At the beginning of the game, you can, kind of like ambush, you can decide what kind of equipment each of your guys has, and you secretly put those on top of your things. You just put the equipment side, and then you'll reveal. And all these different things like the canteen or the binoculars or the grenade, first aid pouch, all do certain things. And you can see that in this chart here. And you can use those during the course of the game to modify rules. There's also vehicles. There's one of my favorite tank destroyers actually of the war, and it's basically the same. You have your machine guns and your tank gun. It's armored target. There's special rules for that. He's worth a lot of victory points, but if you destroy him, you get quite a few points. And he's had an inherent defense built right into his thing, so you have to overcome all those things to actually get him to be killed. Now, obviously, I've skipped a lot of the rules, and in my brief explanation of how to play. But all I can tell you is that there's lots of interaction. It's a lot of fun. Once you understand how to play, it's pretty light. The rules are a little convoluted, at least in my opinion, but I made it through them, and I'm not too smart, so I'm sure you can figure it out. That's it. Good quality components. The cards are good, heavy stock. Everything's great. I've been impressed with these last 2 releases for DVG games, Phantom Leader and now Frontline D-Day. I'd highly suggest this one. Phantom Leader was kind of an acquired taste, solitaire game, Vietnam, but this is going to be a good success, I think, a mainstream game, light, and lots of interaction, and not that long to play. You can play a very small battle to a big, huge battle. A small battle could take less than maybe even half an hour once you understand the rules. So that's that. So that's Frontline D-Day DVG games. I recommend it. I like it. So see you then, or see you later.